Hi, beautiful people! Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to learn how to make this beautiful and yet simple lacy muffler or scarf. And this beautiful pattern was taught to me by my mom, and this was the first ever scarf that I ever made. This is really simple to make, and with just this pattern you can make two different sets of scarf just by changing the color like here, interchanging with two different colors, or you can make it in one simple color plain like this and it comes out beautifully. So I hope we will have fun and enjoy this. For this pattern, we are going to require a needle of your choice. If you are going with a smaller needle like this one, you will be knitting it very loosely. Or if you are a tight knitter, you can opt for a bigger needle and you don't have to knit it so loosely. The reason why I'm asking you to knit it loosely or use a bigger needle is because we want to get the lacy effect on the scarf. So, let's grab your needle and get to work. For the video, I'm using a smaller needle to show how to knit it loosely. We will begin by casting on, and you can use the traditional method or the long tail casting as you prefer, but I would like to go with the traditional method of casting, and I would do it a little differently. So, remembering to keep it loose, we will insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we are going to slip it on the left needle. Slip it on, keeping the stitches loose, and instead of going through here, I want to go under both the loops to make the base smoother. So, yarn over, pull up a loop, slip it on the left needle. Nicely done. Go under both the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, slip it on the left needle, and continue to cast on in a multiple of 2. Plus, for the border, I am putting 3 stitches on each side. So I will be casting on 30 plus 3 plus 3, so 36 stitches. Reason being, broader edges or border helps keep the scarf flat and prevents from curling in as it would in some of the other knitted scarf. Continue to cast on as per your requirement of the scarf, and I will meet you once you are done casting on. So I have cast on 36 stitches very loosely, and we are ready to go and work on the scarf. So the very first row, we are going to knit all across through every stitch. Just insert, yarn over, pull up a loop and loose. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop and loose. Remember to keep the stitches loosely and not pull it too tightly. So once you are done knitting all across, I will meet you on the other side. Okay, so I have knitted the first row, and now the main pattern starts here. What we will do is, instead of knitting the first stitch like the regular one, I want to just slip it onto the other needle and bring the working yarn forward, knit the 2 stitches for the border, second stitch and third stitch. So these 3 stitches will be the border stitch, and now the main pattern begins. Yarn over, knit 2 together, knit the 2 stitches together, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we are going to repeat that. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we will be knitting 2 together. Yarn over first of all, knit 2 together, and you will continue to do this until you are left with 3 stitches on the end of the row. So once you are done with this row, I will meet you there. Okay, so at the end of the row you are left with 5 stitches. Yarn over, knit 2 together, this is the last, knit 2 together, and knit the 3 remaining stitches regularly for the other border of the scarf, for the other edge. So knit 3. Here you can see the spaces that is created by the yarn over and knit 2 together. We will be knitting this space to create this lacy scarf. So moving on to the second row of the pattern, slip the first stitch onto the needle. Instead of knitting, slip it, bring the working yarn forward, knit the second stitch, knit the third stitch, and here we will be knitting one more stitch because in the pattern we want the yarn over from the previous row to be on the front of the knit 2 together stitch. So 4 knit, and then we will be working the pattern from here. So yarn over, we want the yarn over from the previous row right here. We want this to be in front of these 2 stitches that will be knit together. Once again, yarn over, knit 2 together, in which the yarn over from the previous row is in front of the knit together stitch, and make sure you knit it loosely. Continue knitting 2 together all across, and I will show you how to knit it at the end of the row. So at the end you seem to be left with 4 stitches, but we still have one more stitch of yarn over from the previous row, so we will knit these 2 together. Don't worry about the edge stitch because for the border we are left with only 2, but it will be okay because at the start of the row we increase the border stitch by 1, so at the end we will decrease the border stitch by 1. So 4 in the beginning and 2 at the end. The next row will set it straight. Basically the next row is a repetition of row 1 that we had just done. Slip the first stitch onto the needle, pull the working yarn forward, knit the remaining 2 border stitch. In simple word, the yarn over from the previous row marks as the start or end of the pattern for that particular row you are knitting it. It is easily identifiable because of the yarn over from the previous row. Yarn over, knit 2 together, Continue knitting this pattern for as long as you require your scarf to be. And at the end of the third row, you will see that you are left with only 3 border stitch. So you are back to the original stitch. I'm left with 5 stitches, and that is the last yarn over. So we're going to knit that together. Yarn over, knit 2 together, and knit the 3 regular border stitch. Continue this pattern for as long as you require. I will knit some few rows to show you how the pattern will look like here. So after knitting a few rows, you can see the pattern has begun to form. A really big bonus point about the scarf is that you don't have to block it to show the lacy pattern. Once you continue to use and wash them, you would see that it stretches and the pattern becomes more prominent and clear. So the longer you use, the more beautiful it becomes, which is why I love it so much. For binding off, knit 1 complete row and bind off regularly as you would, or I would link in the description below for a bind off tutorial. Add tassels if you'd like to, or just leave it as it is. It is great both ways. So this is the simple lacy scarf pattern that I wanted to share with you all today. It brings back a lot of childhood memories, warm memories, and I'm so happy I could share it with you. If you like it, please do give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss out on a single video, and do follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Loose Handicrafts. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, bye bye.